Hi, it's Felicia. Welcome to my kitchen. So today I have a bit of a confession to make. I have a weakness when it comes to eating plant-based foods. I know. My weakness, potato chips. I love them. I do. I have to admit it. I love them. But I found a total game changer so that you can make plant-based, oil-free, salt-free, sugar-free, amazing potato chips right in your microwave. That's what we're talking about today. Stay tuned. Today, we are making what looks like a guilty indulgence, but you don't have to feel guilty at all because we are making oil-free, salt-free, sugar-free potato chips right in your microwave. I'm so excited. All right, so in front of me, I have all of our tools and equipment that I need, including these special tools, and we'll talk about those in just a second. So in front of me, I have the kind of potatoes we're going to use. Now, you most certainly can make chips out of almost any root vegetable. You could use any kind of potatoes. You could use sweet potatoes. You could use carrots. You could use beets. Today, I am using my absolute favorite. This is a Japanese yam or a Japanese sweet potato, depending on what your grocer names it. And they are, when we cut into it, you're going to see it's a beautiful white color. And on the outside, it's kind of this deep crimson orange color. So I've got 3 of them here, and honestly, they go really far. I mean, when I make a batch, I really only need 1 of these for myself. So, and I'll tell you, the reason I use this one is because it's got a higher sugar content than some of the other potatoes and other vegetables that I've tried. And when I'm really craving a potato chip, this crisps up beautifully. And I find I do not miss at all the salt that salt taste that you like on the tip of your tongue, or that I like on the tip of my tongue anyway. I don't know about you, but when I'm craving potato chips, these absolutely hit the spot. Total game changer. So this is the kind of potato that we're going to use, and I got a couple of different slicers out here. I'm going to use this one as my main one because it goes quickly. It's called a Salad Master. I got it from one of those party things that that folks do, and I like it because it just goes fast. But you don't need a fancy schmancy piece of equipment. Just a regular old box grater using the slicing side is great. If you have a mandolin, you could use that. So just wanted to show you that. So first of all, I like to choose a potato that will yield a chip that's about the size of a regular potato chip. So when I'm at the store, I will look for a potato that's about this shape. Now, this was the only one they had that day, so I've got a couple other different shaped ones. But I'm going to start with this easier one. And all I'm going to do is just slice off the end. And look at that. See that white color in there? I think it's really beautiful, and it yields absolutely gorgeous chips. So just to show you here, I can use my hand box grater, and it's going to create thin chips. There we go. Thin slices that will yield chips. But just like any sweet potato, this is really a hard type of potato. So if you've got another kind of slicer, I would recommend doing that. But if you're just going to give this a try for the first time, then absolutely use your box grater. You can use a knife if you want, but you're really looking for very thin, can you see behind that, very thin slices. Okay, so I got all the way down to the end here, this end little nubby. Now, let's talk about the total game changer. This is a product made by Mastrad, and by the way, this is not a sponsored video. There is an Amazon affiliate link if you want to go buy these, because this is where I bought them, was on Amazon. And I heard about these one day when I was watching the Chef AJ show. So if you're not following or subscribed to Chef AJ, absolutely do that. She has great tips. But I wanted to see, do these really work for myself? So they come in a set of 2. That's how I bought them. You can buy them individually by 1, or I think they may have other sets, but the set of 2 seems to work well for me. And it yields just the right amount of potato chips. So I've sliced up my chips here, my potato, and all you're going to do is just arrange them on these little silicone plates, I guess. I don't know if another way to say it, but these little silicone contraptions. And I'm going to put it in my microwave, and you are going to be shocked at how crispy these come out. I know I was. So, all right, I want to tell you one more thing as I'm loading this up. When you buy these from the company and they come in their packaging, there is a small, short little 2-page instruction booklet. You don't really need a ton of instructions, but they have a table with recipes on there. Not really recipes, it's just the kind of vegetable that you're putting in and how long it needs to go. And I have found for my microwave oven that I need to go longer than what they require from the manufacturer. So you're going to just have to kind of experiment with your slicer, how thick or thin your slices are, and your microwave and how powerful it is. And then also each individual potato has more or less a bit of moisture in it. And that's really what we're doing, is we're just drying these out. So you can see I've laid them out in a flat, not overlapping pattern here, and not really any kind of fancy pattern, just kind of squished them on as well as I can. Since it came with 2, I was able to use 2. So all I'm going to do is they pile up neatly on top of each other. You see that? So they pile up on top of each other so the air can circulate. And then you're just going to pop them in your microwave oven. And the instructions say 3 minutes. I found for me, it takes closer to between 7 and 8 minutes. So I usually start with 5, and then after 5 minutes I take them out and I kind of see where we are. So that's what I'm going to do. Now while we're waiting, I just want you to know those little scraps, don't throw these out. Put them in your veggie broth bowl or veggie broth bag or container that you keep in the freezer, and then these little odds and ends make amazing vegetable broth out of these scraps, absolutely free, no oil, no salt, no sugar, perfect for a plant-based diet. So stick these in your freezer. I'm going to do that right now. So this is my veggie broth bag that I have in the freezer right now. And I've got all kinds of odds and ends in there. Make sure you go watch that video about how to make veggie broth out of these scraps. Absolutely delicious, super easy. While we wait for our potato chips to cook in the microwave, if you're new here, I just want to say welcome. I'm glad you're here. Once again, let me introduce myself. My name is Felicia Slattery. I am a plant-based eater, a plant-based home cook, and a plant-based cookbook author. This is my cookbook, Plant-Based Slow Cooker Cookbook. This is my first cookbook, and there are 100+ recipes in here that help you make your plant-based cooking so much easier. So go check out the book. And also, while you're here on the channel, if you're finding this video helpful, click that like button, and then also click the bell icon to subscribe so that you don't miss any videos coming up. We're just a few seconds from our first round of the potato chips coming out of my microwave. So this was 5 minutes, and I'm going to show you how they come out. So can you see they have dehydrated a good bit. They've started to get a little bit shrivelly, but as I've said before, and I've made these a lot now in my microwave, and they kind of stick together if they touch each other. That's okay, it doesn't hurt anything. Is that they are not yet crispy. You can see they're still pliable, so there's still a little bit of liquid in here, and if I were to taste it, no crunch. They're still tasty. They're pretty good, actually. I love them. And you don't have to turn them over. I was just touching them to see, 'cause I'm the only one going to be eating them. They're going to be with my lunch. So excited. So I'm going to put these right back in. I'm going to switch the trays around. And I'm going to put them in for about another minute at a time. And the reason I'm doing them for a minute at a time is because they'll go from perfectly beautifully crunchy to burned in a few seconds. So back in, 1 more minute. All right, let's see what that other minute did. So we're on 6 minutes now out of my microwave, and let's see. They're getting firm, they're getting crisper, a little bit more firm, but they're not quite ready yet. Even the little ones are not quite crunchy or crispy. So I'm going to try another minute. As I said, mine usually take about 7 to 8 minutes. So let's see how long it takes this time. So we were on 6, we'll do 1 more minute. And honestly, between you and me, I think somewhere between 7 and 10 minutes is not too long to wait for the most amazing potato chips you will probably ever have and ever make that are completely healthy for you. That's the best part about these potato chips, that I love that I can still have a potato chip with whatever it is that I am enjoying, or just as a snack, because all I'm eating is a potato. Yay! None of the bad stuff. I love it. Okay, so this is 7 minutes. Let's see. And they are getting closer. Here's how I know. I am looking for the color to shift, and it starts to turn a little bit brown. Do you see that? And they're not quite as pliable as they were. They have a lot less give. They're not totally ready. I told you usually about 8 minutes does it in my microwave. This one was a little more thinly cut, and he's kind of on the, can't quite hear him yet though, crispier side. Did you hear that? There was a tiny crunch. I don't want a tiny crunch. I want big crunch. So back in they go, and I'm just going to rotate the trays again. And 1 more minute to get me to 8 minutes, which I think should do it for these, but we'll see. So I just got out a little basket for myself, and a little one of my cloth napkins to put my chips in. I don't really need the napkin, other than I don't want the chips to fall through the bottom of the basket. Any of the little crumbs. So sometimes people put napkins in things that are greasy to soak up the grease, but we don't have any grease. There's no oil. I've added nothing to these beautiful sweet potatoes, which will be potato chips very quickly. All right, so we're at 8 minutes in my microwave. And let's see if they are ready. And let's see. Not quite. Almost. Maybe another 30 seconds to a minute. I'm looking for that. I'm looking. They're going to be crispy and crunchy. Did you hear that? We're getting super close. Some of the littler ones, not quite even. All right. So we're going to finish this up. 1 more minute. This is going to get me to 9 minutes. And I feel like that should be the end. We'll see. I think we did it. They have turned, yep, this is it. I wouldn't want to put them in any longer. So you see the color now? They've turned kind of a nice golden brown color. And they are hot because they just came out of the microwave. But they are ready to go. And do you hear that on my fingernail there? It's crispy. And it's crispy when you break it. Okay, they're hot. Did you hear that? Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh, crunch closer to the microphone. Right? That's not a sound effect. That's what it really sounds like. So these are potato chips. No oil, no salt. Really delicious. I love them. They're super satisfying. When you are craving that crunch of a potato chip. And again, these are the Japanese yams or Japanese sweet potatoes. This is what they look like. I buy mine at the Asian grocery store here in town. I have one not far from my home. My regular grocery store does not sell these Japanese yams, but if I were to ask my produce department manager, if he or she would buy these, I'm sure they would get them in. So those are you hear that crunch? Potato chips out of your microwave. No oil, no salt, no sugar. Super healthy. I love them. I can't stop eating them. And it's courtesy of this really cool silicone tool from a company called Mistrad. Again, not a sponsored post, but you can find my link in the description below. Now that my chips are finished, you might be wondering how hard are these to clean up. You can see they're not dirty at all. Just a quick swipe with a wet sponge and they are good to go. So go grab these so that within about 10 minutes you can have delicious, healthy, plant-based potato chips right out of your microwave. You hear that? That sounds like a basket of chips, right? Oh yeah, potato chips. Oh, or if you're in Britain, they're crisps. But here in the US, we call them chips. So good. I love them.